Listen to this. A recent nationwide survey by The Ohio State University found that over 65% of parents in the U.S. feel isolated and lonely. 65%! And it's no wonder we're so lonely. I mean, who has time for friends? We're too busy trying to take care of our children, feed our family, keep a clean home, and somehow take care of ourselves too, which often ends up being our last priority. So friendship gets put on the back burner, and our homes become the most pressing matter. I need to get it clean. The dishes must be done before I go to bed. The floors need to be swept daily, and forget inviting anyone over. I mean, have you seen my house? Well, no, you haven't, because I'll never let you in with this mess. But why do we feel so much pressure to clean all the time? Why is this the most important thing in our lives? I think I know one reason. Social media. I mean, people only post about their life when life looks pretty. You see the pictures of the Pinterest-style kitchens, photos of children in their homes where not a single toy is out of place. It's so unrealistic. Yet we convince ourselves that we're the only ones behind and all these other women must have it all together. I mean, hey, every time I go to my friend Sarah's house, her floors are mopped, her bathroom shines, and everything is neatly put away. So I guess there must be something wrong with me. I'm just not a tidy person like she is. These are the things I tell myself. But in reality, all these other women are likely just as behind. They only want you to think they aren't because they are under the same societal pressures. And not to mention that motherhood feels like a big competition half the time. It's as if we've forgotten how to celebrate each other's successes. Instead, we have to one-up one another. Oh, your son is walking at 13 months? Mine walked at 9 months. There is such a general expectation on us to be perfect. And imagine what that does to our mental health. According to an article from the National Library of Medicine, feeling pressure to be a perfect mom is associated with higher levels of stress. And this pressure to be perfect can be overwhelming because we feel like we can't measure up to today's standards, yet we try so hard. And this pursuit of perfection often leads to social isolation. Kate Golick, who is an associate clinical professor at The Ohio State University, said that loneliness has been shown to affect both your physical and mental health. So anything from cardiovascular disease to depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, even your immune system can be affected when you're lonely. In fact, one study showed if you are in social isolation for a prolonged amount of time, it's equivalent to smoking about 15 cigarettes a day. That's shocking, isn't it? Yet we continue to allow ourselves to fall into isolation and put our desire to have a clean home above our need for deep connection. But we weren't made to walk this world alone. Friendship is important, especially because not all of us have supportive families that we can confide in. And even if we do, our parents aren't going to be around forever. Our kids are eventually going to move out, and all we're going to have left is our friends. That is, if we put in the time and effort to make them. But if we're constantly putting our homes on the forefront and allowing our friendships to suffer because of it, then all we're left with is a clean home. And hey, that's a good thing, right? That's what we want. That's what we aspire to each day, a home that's clean. And all it took was complete social isolation and a detriment to our mental well-being. But that's not what we want, is it? The Mental Health Foundation says that friendship is a crucial element in protecting our mental health. And that's why creating lasting friendships is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. An article from the Mayo Clinic speaks a little more on the benefits of having friends. It says that it increases our sense of purpose and belonging, and that's what most of us want, right? To belong somewhere, to have a purpose in life. It also says that friendships boost happiness and reduce stress. They improve our self-confidence and self-worth. They even promote overall health, reducing our risk of depression, high blood pressure, and even making us live longer. Good friends are like medicine to our soul. And I don't think we need an article to know that. Think of the last time you laughed really hard with a friend. Maybe it's been a while. Maybe you have to think all the way back to college or even high school. Do you remember how good it felt to laugh? I'm talking about the kind of laughter that makes your cheeks burn and your abs ache from laughing so hard. There is nothing that compares to that feeling. Not an empty kitchen sink, not a mopped floor, not even catching up on all the laundry. Nothing compares to a meaningful friendship full of laughter and love. So why don't we prioritize it? Why is our front door always locked? Well, because we're embarrassed. How can I let anyone in this house? It's a mess. It would require 4 hours of cleaning to even consider unlocking the door. But if worrying about our home stops us from having meaningful relationships, then I say, who cares? Seriously, ask yourself, who cares about your home being a mess besides you? I'd like to argue that your messy home will bring them tremendous relief. Think about how you feel when you walk into a friend's house and it is beyond clean. Nothing is out of place. The floors look like no one has stepped on them in days, and you can't even see a speck of dust anywhere. How does that make you feel? I don't know about you, but when I'm in that situation, it doesn't make me feel good. Instead, I just feel ashamed of my own home. Like, why does everyone else have their life together except me? Why is it that they can handle the craziness of kids and school and work and meals and keep their home clean, yet I can't? But you know how I feel when I walk into a friend's home and it's messy? Relaxed, not alone, understood, honored that they would trust me enough to let me see their mess. And then I can feel comfortable to invite them over to my house because they let me see their mess, so I feel like I can show them mine. We're so quick to hide the ugly in our lives. We pretend to live in perfectly clean houses with perfect children and perfect marriages. And in doing so, nobody wants to hang out with us. Because you know what? Real people, those who are living in this mess we call life, they just want to be around real people. Yet no one shows their real self anymore. But maybe if we did, if we opened the door and allowed others to see the mess, if we didn't throw the dishes into the cupboard or put the piles of dirty laundry in the shower, then we could have open, honest, beautiful relationships. What is the foundation of a friendship? It's trust. And the second we start hiding the mess in our lives, we're not allowing ourselves to be transparent. We're not trusting that our friends won't judge us. And hey, if they do, then that's not a friend I want to have. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Are you listening? We need to break the cycle. It only takes one person to do it. If you could just invite your friend over without cleaning first, then maybe they could feel comfortable enough to do the same and you wouldn't have to go through life alone anymore. Yeah, maybe you have your kids or your husband, but they can't relate to you like a girlfriend can. They can't understand what it's like to morph into a hangry emotional gremlin every 28 days or the fine art of crafting the perfect sourdough bread from scratch. Only us women can talk about this stuff. So I say, stop worrying about your home so much and start being okay with the mess. Your friends aren't coming over so that they could admire your squeegeed windows. They aren't coming to see that you finally dusted the ceiling fan. They're coming, hopefully, because they love you and want to see you. If 65% of moms are lonely, then I say there's a 65% chance that your friend is just going to be extremely thankful for some adult interaction. But with all that being said, I also understand that it's not always that simple. Some of you have expressed that you don't have friends and you don't know how to make them. Or maybe you have friends, but they're not very good friends. Well, here's what I want to say to you first. If you have a friend who isn't out for your best interests, don't waste your time, okay? Friendship takes too much time to build, to waste on people who don't actually care about you. If we're going to put our time and effort into growing a relationship, do it with someone who you can trust. Someone who will celebrate with you when something goes good in your life, instead of trying to one-up you. Someone who will answer the phone when you're going through a hard time, instead of ignoring you because they don't want to deal with it. We don't waste our time on people who have no desire to make us a priority in their lives. That is not life-giving, and it will only drain us of our energy and joy. Okay? Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about how to make friends. It's hard. I'm just going to be honest. Making friends as an adult is hard, and you have to take initiative and be open to rejection. Not everyone out there is looking for friends, but the people who are will be thankful for your efforts, especially if you're a mom, because moms are some of the loneliest people out there. We strive for deeper connections, but many of us are just too scared to take the steps to get there. But if you really want this, if you want to create lasting friendships, then you need to put yourself out there. When I first moved into this house, I really wanted a friend. I would go out on daily walks with my 1-year-old in the stroller and just wish I had someone to walk with. And then one day a mom passed by. She was carrying her 4-month-old on her chest. And she smiled at me and I politely said hello. And I could have just kept walking and gone on with my day. But instead, I turned around and I said, "Hey, you want to walk together?" She said yes. And I have to admit, it was extremely uncomfortable. I felt weird. I didn't know what to say. The conversation didn't flow well. The small talk was awkward. But now, 5 years later, we talk on a weekly basis. We created a beautiful friendship, and it took many initial uncomfortable hangouts before we got to the point where we could just genuinely enjoy each other. So be bold. Speak up. When you're waiting to pick up your kids from school, start a conversation. I know there's at least 20 moms nearby. If you're at a birthday party, if you're at a local coffee shop, the park, strike up a conversation with someone nearby. It's up to you. You choose your destiny. And you know what? It's not always going to work. You're going to try to talk to people and they're not going to want to connect. Don't let that discourage you. Just try again with someone else. Be okay with rejection. Not every mom or woman out there is looking for friendship like you are, but the ones who are will be responsive, open to the awkward small talk. And then, when you feel like you've found someone who you could be friends with, invite them over and don't squeegee the windows. Don't dust the ceiling fan. Don't kill yourself cleaning for 4 hours to be someone that even you can't relate to. Sure, wipe down the table, clean the toilets, make sure the dining room chairs are clear so that your guests don't sit in a pile of jelly, and then just stop. Enjoy having someone to talk to. Stop thinking about the mess and just have fun. Throw some potato chips in a bowl, make some coffee, tea, whatever, and just laugh together. Relate to the craziness of life and create something beautiful. Because as long as we close our door to the world due to fear of anyone seeing our homes, then we're missing out on one of the most beautiful things in life. Don't miss out. Let them see the mess so that they can let you see theirs. And then maybe we can be less lonely and have more belonging in this crazy world. If you haven't yet, then I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. And hey, if you are to clean before you invite someone over, then only do it for an hour. That's it. That's actually all you need. Check out this video next and I'll tell you more about it. This is the perfect video to watch when you're expecting company. So go ahead and click here and I'll see you in a minute.